For you guys that didn't know, this box here, this is made by Tops, as you can see. This is Styling Skateboards from 1990. This was painted, made by John Pound. This is a John Pound painting piece. I'd love to buy this one day. And he also designed the stickers, because if you ever get the shit open, if you ever get inside one of these packages, there's a little plastic skateboard, and it comes with little stickers, like little decals that you decorate the skateboard with, and those were also designed by John Pound. Just a little fun fact. And if you think about it, 1990, that was a couple years after, or a year or so after Garbage Pail Kids ended. And so this is like a post GPK John Pound release there. Guys, I got 3 items in. These are not Garbage Pail Kid related, but I thought I'd just open on here anyway. Today's topic is political stuff. I haven't really talked about politics before on here. I mean, I did a little bit with we did some women issues and some race issues, but I haven't really talked about politics per se. For one reason, I'm not really into politics. I think we're all we have to be a little bit into politics to live in the world in 2022. So I'm just going to kind of tell you what party I'm associated with, why I open these mailbags basically. So I'm going to open these. Again, these are not Garbage Pail Kids, but they are from the same era. They're all from the same era. And I'm just going to tell you some thoughts about politics as we go, okay? One thing I'm noticing on this first one here, we got a package in from Australia. Down here it says $244. Now this is in, their money, so it's a little bit less. Their dollar isn't quite as worth as much as our dollar, but still that's a lot of money. It says here ice cream wrapper. So yeah, this is a a very expensive ice cream wrapper. I'm actually going to save this for the end. That'll be our finale. Yeah, so I'm just going to get started. We'll see what this is first. I'm going to set you down. I got my new little setup where I can set my phone, and I don't even have to use a hand. There we go. Yeah, so this might have been yesterday's news. I don't really know, but since I retired, the days are kind of melding together. But it's the midterms. Oh wow, I can already see what's in here. Okay, so yeah, so I'm obviously from Georgia. So it's hard to think, what the fuck is this? Why? Okay, it says thanks, obviously, but what the fuck? Okay. All right, so what these are, and I'll try to get my thoughts together. But yeah, these are from 1990, and they're called Rude Dudes. I'll open them so you can see them. But, so they're around Garbage Pail Kid era. Yeah, but anyway, so let me just tell you sort of the background. So Georgia is thought to be a very conservative place, right? Because Georgia is in the deep south. So when you think about Georgia, most people think, oh, it's a very red state, as we say. It's very, Republican. And that is true. It is a very Republican state. However, when you get around Atlanta, it becomes it just flips. It's almost completely Democrat around Atlanta. And even in my area in Augusta, it gets very Democrat. And even if you go down to Savannah, which is another one of our cities, it gets very Democrat. And I think that's sort of the case around America. When you get closer to the urban areas, and you get more diversity, right, it tends to be a little more liberal, a little more Democrat. Well, I told you guys I'm from Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta, but I've always felt kind of split personality. That's not the right term, but because if you remember my story, when I was in high school, I had to move down south and live basically in the country with my grandparents, and I never really left that lifestyle. I've never basically returned to a big city. I don't consider Augusta a very big urban area, to be honest. So I've kind of always been split between urban and, kind of, country or whatever. So as far as my political leanings, I've always been sort of like split. And I know no one wants to hear that. Like, we all probably can say that we are part Democrat, part Republican and whatnot. But I'm going to unpack that a little bit today and just kind of tell you what that's about. Yeah, these are amazing, man. These are really cool. Obviously, these are bubblegum items. Here we see a punk rocker of all things on the front. Rad rock tattoo inside. This is really cool. I've actually never seen this design before. This is the one you always see. Great condition. Got a little tattoo babe on the back. And then on the back of this one, you have a female singer. Right, so here's the deal. So am I Republican or Democrat? Well, I know no one wants to hear this. I know, like, everyone wants you to pick a side, right? I get that. I'm like that too. I wish people would just tell me, like, what the deal is. But it is like I am very split. And so I'll just tell you why I feel kind of split about it. Around my area, in Georgia, I think most people would say I'm a Democrat. But if I went up to, say, New York, I think people in New York would find me very conservative. I think it depends on where you're at in the country. So my ideals are very conservative for, maybe in some other states, maybe the Midwest or the North. But down here in the South, I think I'm really seen as more of a liberal type. And this is all relative to who I'm around and whatnot. And so I think when you talk about politics and beliefs, it really is sort of like regional. Like, in my region, I'm very liberal, but if I was in another state, they would find me completely like fucking old-fashioned and conservative, if that makes any fucking sense. So I'm just going to tell you how I believe, like, my feelings on each of, like, the major topics. And while I open this next thing here. Okay, let's see. This is coming in from Kentucky. A very red state, by the way. In politics, there's always these fucking topics that people argue about. One of them, I'll just start with abortion, okay? I know it's really cringy to hear me talk about to talk about abortion. Okay. Okay. But I got to start somewhere. So listen. I don't give a fuck if you're a Democrat or Republican. Nobody likes abortion. Come on. Like, even if you believe in, like, women should have the right to abortion, it doesn't mean you like abortion. No one likes fucking abortion. So I always hate to hear people, like, argue about abortion. Because, like, we're on the same team. Like, no one likes abortion. But, the argument is, do we want the government to, sorry. Okay. Guys, I have never seen these before. And what's cool is it came with two. The guy had two of them. I'd never seen them before. These were only made in Canada. As you can see the French writing on there. And they are hockey puck bubblegum. And they were made by the Fleer Corp, but it was made in the Canadian Fleer Corp. And I've never seen these before, and it's amazing. Noticing a little damage on this one. And I'll definitely sell this one and keep one for the archive. But they're hockey puck bubblegums. Hat trick, if you don't know, that's when someone scores 3 goals in a game. So that's what the novelty, that's the funny part, hat trick. These are called hat trick bubblegums. And it's a little hockey puck. Very fucking cheap. Extremely cheap. I actually have a hockey puck bubble gum that's from the U.S. that has a lid that goes down. Completely different sculpt. These, I've never seen it. It's just basically a little cup that they put a little little fucking cardboard piece on, and sold it just like this. Yeah, so abortion, if I had to pick a side, I would easily, without a question, I believe women should have the right to abortion. My God, yes. I do not want the government to tell any woman how to, use their body or whatever. So, as conservative as I am, that is a very democratic, Democrat thing to say, right? To be, pro-abortion or whatever. Okay, legalization. Do I believe that we should have, legalization? I'm talking about drugs, right? I'm talking about, marijuana for starters. But I actually believe in a step further. I believe that nearly all the drugs should be legalized to a certain extent. Decriminalized, right? I don't think there should be this many people in prison for, drug offenses and whatnot like that. Of course, there's going to be exceptions. Right. Guys, I don't talk about exceptions on here. I told you guys, I do not go down that road. There's going to be a million exceptions. Even with abortion, there's exceptions. I don't think we should be aborting babies with 2 weeks out to go, right? That's a baby inside that mom. But, there's going to be some boundaries there. So I am conservative in that way. I don't believe in complete abortion. I don't believe in complete legalization. So I guess that's where you start to see some of those lines. Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you liberal or whatnot? So, all right, let's get to this. We're going to see a $250 ice cream wrapper that came from Australia. Okay. Sorry, it's I'm trying to figure out how to open this thing. I do not want to slice this because it's just a paper wrapper. All right, I'm going to try the back here. All right. Trans rights and gay rights. Do I believe women... do I believe that gays, homosexuals should, be married and all that? Well, they already had that right? I did not have a problem with that at all. I think that was one of the greatest things that Obama did was he just legalized across the board. He just cut all that fucking bullshit. And so I'm very happy about that. I don't think the government should have any control over if someone gets married or not. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. I don't think people should get to marry animals. Holy shit. Guys, you're looking at probably the only one. I'm in this category like all day long, and I've never seen a Peter's Ghostbusters wrapper. I haven't seen this one. This is the first one. This is from the 1984. This is from the first fucking movie. It's in... I don't see any stains except at the top, which is extremely rare for any ice cream wrapper that's made out of paper. Because, when milk gets old, any sort of, residual milk will turn brown. And you can sort of see some of that residual. But there's ice cream wrappers that I own, that people that own that are completely stained. And that's what it's like to collect this shit. But this one, as far as an ice cream wrapper goes, it's almost mint. It really is. I love this ghostly ice treat. And this is definitely first movie, 1984 Ghostbusters ice cream wrapper. What the fuck, man? Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, so down the line, so as you can see, I'm definitely very liberal. And if I went out into the streets of, if I drove an hour out to maybe the farms, and I think you guys can relate wherever you live. If you drive out, an hour or so from your house, unless you live on a farm now or whatever, and you talk to some of the old timers, you talk to some really conservative people, small town people, and you start talking about women's rights, you start talking about legalizing, decriminalizing just drugs, and you believe in gay marriage and all this stuff, they're going to really think that you're just completely out of your mind. At least where I live in Georgia, they completely think you're just a complete crazy liberal. However, if I were to travel, I don't know, California, I'm not trying to pick on anybody, just a different part of the country, I think they would find me very conservative. Because if we dig down a little bit deeper into my beliefs, and I'm not going to do this, but if you were to have a long discussion with me, you could definitely pick out, you can start to see those boundaries where, okay, Russ is open-minded, but there comes a point when he's not open-minded. And there comes a point where his Georgian, his deep South, beliefs are really starting to show, right? But on the surface, I definitely believe that, we do not need the government telling us what to do with, our bodies and our personal choices. That's not what I think the government should be for. All right. So I got through the mailbag. Sorry if that was cringy. To hear a garbage pail kid collector to talk about politics. You can definitely tell that I'm out of ideas here. This is video 94, just on Block Stars alone. So one thing I was going to compare this to was cheap toys, as I always do. I thought that making a cheap toy price guide, writing a cheap toy article, making numerous videos about cheap toys recently would cause a cheap toy wave. Right now they thought we're going to have a red wave, right? Donald Trump thought there was going to be a red wave, right? They thought all the Republicans were going to win their races, and it would just open the door to Donald Trump winning the presidency in a couple years. Well, anyway, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what I thought. I thought there was going to be a cheap toy wave. Get a Grip Skateboards made a cheap toy bag, remember, at Vegas. I thought that would get more discussion. It did not. Where is my cheap toy wave? What do I have to fucking do in this goddamn hobby to get a fucking cheap toy wave? I've been talking about this one fucking product for almost 20 years, and I can't spawn any sort of momentum, any sort of cheap toy wave. And if it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen, right? Dude, the article just got posted on Marketplace. The first fucking price guide just got posted on Marketplace. There's a guy who's spilling his collection on eBay. The most rare Canadian cheap toys I've ever seen is being spilled every day on eBay now. There's a cheap toy bag was just produced by Get a Grip Skateboards. I'm talking about this shit myself every day, almost every day on Block Stars Live. What's it going to take for me to get my cheap toy wave? I'm as mad as Donald Trump right now. I don't get it. He doesn't understand why the Republicans didn't win all their races. I'm sitting here every day wondering why I'm not having more collectors talk about cheap toys. What's it going to take for us to get the cheap toy wave that I've been preparing so long for? I even have an interview I'm fixing to post, publish by Mark Newgarden. He's talking about it. I've got all this shit I want to do with cheap toys, still want to do with cheap toys, but why isn't it that I'm not getting the cheap toy wave? What the fuck do I have to do to make this happen? So here's my thoughts on that. Let me set you down so I can stop shaking the fucking camera. All right. Well, so a couple, a day, fucking Tuesday. What's today? I'm sorry, I don't even know what today is. Is it Friday? Anyway, a couple days ago, 3 days ago. We didn't see the red wave, did we? We didn't see the Republicans just sweep the board like was predicted. And just between me and you, I'm glad. I didn't want the Democrats to win. I didn't want the Republicans to win. I wanted it to be equal, and that's where I think our country should be. But that's not what I'm talking about. I want to gear it back towards cheap toys. So what I've been hearing on the news is the reason we didn't have the red wave is because it's harder to change people's minds as they thought. You know, you would think by reading the news that you had all these liberals who were going to go to the polls and vote. I know in my state, you know, it was Stacey Abrams. Dude, she lost. She lost big. Brian Kemp blew her out of the fucking water. It wasn't even close. So why is that? Everyone was so convinced that Stacey Abrams had so much clout, so much power, that she was going to go into Atlanta and just fucking take, you know, and become the governor. Why didn't it happen? The reason is because in Georgia, we have some of the most deep-rooted, generational conservatives. You're never going to change their minds. And you might catch them every now and then talking, you know, about maybe legalizing weed or whatever, just like I am here today. But in our quietest moments, when no one's looking, when it's just us in our heads, I think a lot of people, I'm talking about Georgia, we're very conservative. We're just really conservative. And we do want people to have rights and good things, and we do have liberal leanings at times. But I definitely belong to a very conservative mindset. And so to relate this back to cheap toys, I don't think there's enough articles that I can write about cheap toys. I don't think there's enough posts that I can write about cheap toys. I don't think there's enough pictures that I can snap. Do you have any idea how many fucking thousands of photographs of cheap toys I just alone have produced and posted over the years? And it hasn't made a single difference. And I think the reason is, and I'll close on this, I think Garbage Pail Kids, we're very conservative. A lot of us are older. We're closer to 50 than 40. And we're definitely in our 40s at this point. And, you know, we have kids and, you know, we've seen so much in our life, the ups and downs, and we're at this point where we know where we're at in our mind. And I don't think, me alone, call me a candidate. rusVan, the cheap toy candidate. I don't think there's enough, there's just not enough that I can do personally as a cheap toy candidate that can sway the opinion of the GPK community towards more cheap toy awareness. And, there's nothing I can really do about it. And let me just tell you, from me to you, I tried. And I gave it everything I could. And you want to know why I'm quitting Garbage Pail Kids? It's even more clear now from ever. I had my last little fucking burst, right? I finally got cheap toys back in the marketplace, or, I'm talking about the big marketplace, not just that one group. I got it back, on the front page, just momentarily. And it made no fucking difference. And let me tell you, I will never be able to get back to this level. I got cheap toys on TV. got them on national TV. I got them published. I got the creator of Cheap Toys. I've got an interview. I've even got an article that we wrote together. I can't do any more. I can't take any more pictures of it. My cheap toy wave, it never did anything. I could probably right now, even though there's a goddamn storm, I could probably go to some fucking tattoo shop and I could fucking get Cheap Toys fucking tattooed clout style across my fucking face like Post Malone or whatever. I don't know these people. And take pictures, and I could like do maybe some selfies on Instagram. I guarantee there wouldn't be any more fans of Cheap Toys than ever. Like, it wouldn't do anything. It's just a big fucking waste of time. But for you guys that are watching this or will watch this, and people that just kind of know me in general, please know, this is what I want you to know, that I did everything I could to make Cheap Toys a bigger genre than it is. You know, I don't know what else to do. Dude, I even petitioned for years, and Topps even came back to make mannequins, which are Cheap Toys basically. But people wouldn't support them. I couldn't get anybody to support them. Yes, they were a little overpriced. They weren't that much overpriced. Some of you fuckers are spending so much money on chrome packs, by the way, which you're losing money. You know that, right? You're going to fucking regret it. You're losing money. I'm fixing to go on a fucking rant. I can feel it, man. I'm just tired of the bullshit, man. Where were my friends during mannequins? Where was the supporters during mannequins? Who just left me fucking hanging, man. Look, in Garbage Pail Kids, toys should have a much more prominence in the franchise. It shouldn't be so card related, especially after this many years. You guys seriously want Topps to just produce card set after card set after card set. Aren't you fucking tired of it? Topps is. They're tired of it. They're fucking rehashing this old cards. They're just making them because people are just still buying them for whatever reason. They're tired of making cards. Did you look at the pictures from Las Vegas from last weekend? Did you look? I watched the videos. I watched, what I could, what was posted, because I didn't go. If you walk down the booths and you look at all the artists and all the people that set up, what didn't you see much of? You didn't see much of the fucking cards. You saw a bunch of art, skateboards, skateboard wheels. People are trying to do other things with Garbage Pail Kids, but for some reason, there hasn't been like a big enough wave that's back in it. And I know in the cheap toy category, dude, I just did all I could, man. Like, I sit around, not all day, but, some, a lot of the day, I guess. And I just think, what can I do today? To make collectors a little more supportive of the toy part of GPK. And I'm out of ideas, man. I'm out of ideas. I'll just tell you a couple things I'm working on. Well, I'm still putting the interview together. I still need to work on it a little bit, but I'll be publishing that. I do want to try to get an interview with Jimmy Chan. That's never been done before. And this is something that I can carry over to the candy world. They'd like that. So, because that's kind of a bigger market than Garbage Pail Kids. So I can do kind of a crossover thing with Jimmy Chan. That's always been a dream of mine to get an interview with him. If you don't know, Jimmy Chan was the producer of Cheap Toys. He was the liaison from China where they made these. And so I do want to do something with Jimmy Chan still. I mean, I haven't been successful at doing that in the past, but I do want to give it maybe one more push before I get out of here and see if I can't get that interview. Now, would a Jimmy Chan interview change anything? Would it create a cheap toy wave in the Garbage Pail Kid hobby? No, it wouldn't. The people at Get a Grip Skateboards, did they fail? I'm not the only failure here. I'm definitely not alone. I'm the front runner, but they made a cheap toy bag. 3 people talked about it. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm out of idea. I don't even know what else to say about it. Maybe I shouldn't say anything else at all. But see, that's why I'm quitting. I can buy the art on my own. I don't have to fucking be on Facebook. None of the art I buy is on Facebook. And you don't go on Facebook to buy Garbage Pail Kids art. You go talk to the artists. I don't need this fucking group to buy the art. If I leave Facebook, it's not going to change anything I collect. Nothing. It'll have zero. It'll have this effect. Can you see that? Because I don't buy any of my Garbage Pail Kids on Facebook. There's nothing unique on any of these groups. Yeah, you might every month you might see a little mid-range semi-unique item. It usually ends up on eBay because people won't pay enough for it. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just ranting, right? But really, there's no reason for me to stay in the community. There's just no fucking reason. How would you feel? How would you feel if you made videos after videos? You made so much goddamn content. So much content. After so many years. And people ignored you. How would you feel? You should be goddamn blessed to even still have me in this hobby. Honestly. I'm just being honest, man. Name three collectors that makes the amount of content that I make. Name 3. Or just name another one. Who's posting as much as I do historically? Not really lately. How about the videos? But yet, where's my cheap toy wave? Articles, videos, video series, cheap toy bag produced by a different company. I got fucking mannequins petitioned and made back in 2013-14. And I got cheap toys on TV. How would you feel? I feel like those fucking trees, man. Completely vulnerable to the hurricane. Completely. Nothing they can do. Just out there in the weather. No friends, really. I needed this hobby to at least humor me. To at least just play along a little bit. God damn. Just a little bit. I know you're fucking at work. Look, I get it, man. Yeah, Russ, you're retired. You don't have all the stress we do. I get that, man. But you do have enough energy just to like a few things and, make a comment or something here and there. Just be a little supportive. Cheap toys are cool. Yeah, look at them. Mug and Megan actually like that character. Wow, that color is really beautiful. Where'd you find that? Oh, you did? Oh, is that vintage? Yeah, it is. Oh, what other ones did they make? There's so much goddamn conversation, so much content that can be connected back to these cards you supposedly love so much. This is fucking Mug and Megan. Megan. This is Patty Putty, man. Right? You know who this character is, right? Do you like this character? Then why don't you like this toy? I can argue all day that this toy is way better than John Pound's image on the card. Patty Putty was very forgettable as a card, by the way. Even though it was the first card of, Series 2. It was right on the top, but it wasn't, let's be honest, it's not his best character. But I think this toy really captures the spirit of what that character was supposed to be, which is a little girl playing with her face, a little rubbery face. I don't get why people don't at least acknowledge cheap toys or just any of the toy, the toy products in any sort of way. When's the last mannequin post you've ever seen? It's like these never existed. It's like they never existed. But here's the thing, they do exist. These exist. And there's nothing you can do about it. They were made. And what I think is weird, it's not me. Well, I'm weird, but I think you're weird for ignoring these items. I really do. And I think it's downright mean and disrespectful to someone who's trying to, glorify, a Garbage Pail Kid Topps, fucking official Topps product, by the way. These were made by Topps, These aren't some fan item. This was officially made by Topps. And you have a collector and, some other collectors too. I'm not the only one, but... and they're making content with this stuff, and I can't even get a goddamn any sort of comment. It's just rude, man. It's. And so after I'm gone, and if anyone asks, where did Russ go? You killed him. The hobby killed him. Yeah, I never got the cheap toy wave. Man, I thought this was going to be cheap toy month, man. What a fucking joke. Oh my God. What a fucking joke. I have to fucking log in to any of these alphabet fucking groups. No one even knows the difference between them. They all look the goddamn same. All the Facebook groups are the exact fucking same. You log into any one of them, put a blindfold on, or whatever. You can't, well, that wouldn't work. But, just cover up the names. They all look identical. They all have the same fucking people doing the same fucking thing. It's just a bunch of chrome chafe that nobody fucking wants. The chrome prices are plummeting, and they're just going to continue to plummet. Because Topps doesn't give a shit. Because people don't give a shit. We're not glorifying the right things. It's turned into basically a glorified fucking trading card. A sports card sort of vibe. And I don't collect graded cards. Do you collect graded cards? Why are you collecting graded cards? Okay. I feel like I could go on another rant here. But really, why are you collecting graded cards? You came to Garbage Pail Kids. Let me get this straight. You came after all these years. After the experiences you had as a child with Garbage Pail Kids, you came back as an adult to collect graded cards. Who the fuck are you people? I don't even get who you fucking fucks are, dude. I'll tell you what's good. Let rusVan tell you what to collect. The art. The fucking source, dude. Get to the fucking source, man. Get some cool toys. Get the cool shit, man. You don't need to be playing with fucking investing and all this goddamn fucking graded shit. That's fucking lame, man. So you're going to wake up when you're 80 years old. You're going to open your little fucking safe that's this big, tiny little piece of shit. And you're going to open it up and you're going to see what? A stack of goddamn cards? Are you kidding me? That's what your collecting career accumulated to? Just a bunch of fucking little cards? Dude, do you realize how much shit that's very cool that was made in the 80s and 90s that you could be collecting right now that's directly tied to this brand that you supposedly love? All made by the same fucking people. You know, this was made by Tom Bunk, by the way. This skateboard box I pulled, this is by John Pound. John Pound painted this. Did you know that? Do you know who painted this? Do you have any fucking clue? Do you care? No, probably not. Look, go collect your goddamn chrome. I don't much fucking care. Jump off a goddamn bridge. It's not going to affect anything. Just like I can't affect cheap toys anymore. There's nothing I can do. I did everything I know to do. I'm at the end of my goddamn rope. I'm sick of fucking trying. It's just, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What can I do? I got them on TV. They were published. We got a fucking price guide. I make videos every fucking day. For decades. Posts. Thousands of fucking posts. About one thing, the thousands of pictures, close-ups, examinations. How fucking close do I have to get to it for it to click? Oh. Now do you know why I'm quitting? Because I've been disrespected. And it's been going on for years. I'm sick of it. And why the fuck am I not a moderator at one of these fucking groups? Why am I not a moderator? I should be an admin at all the top groups. Do you have a cheap toy moderator at your fucking group? Do you have a cheap toy moderator? Do you have any sort of merch moderator? Do you have any expert at your group who knows fucking anything about Garbage Pail Kids? Anything? No, every group has, all their moderators are all Chrome experts. And that's all you need to know. rusVan out.